Do you have one of these ordinary-looking state quarters hiding in your change jar, tucked in a drawer, or forgotten in a dusty old coin album? Because what you're about to see is going to shock you. Some of these state quarters, yes, the same ones you got as change at the grocery store, are now worth more than 100 Bitcoin each. That's not a typo. These tiny coins, no bigger than a bottle cap, have been discovered selling for hundreds of thousands of dollars and even close to $1 million in rare conditions. They're easy to miss, and most people do miss them. That's what makes them so incredibly valuable to collectors today. The U.S. Mint produced billions of quarters. But a tiny handful have rare minting errors, unique designs, or limited production runs that make them ultra-rare treasures in plain sight. Some were only discovered recently, decades after they were first released. And others? They vanished from circulation completely, hiding in someone's coin jar, maybe even yours. So before you spend another quarter, watch this video to the end, because the next one we show could be the one you already own. Make sure to subscribe now, because what we're about to show you might just change how you see pocket change forever. First up, the 1999 Georgia State Quarter. At first glance, it looks like just another 25-cent piece, faded, worn, maybe even a little beat up. But what if I told you this plain-looking quarter, released over 2 decades ago, could be one of the rarest and most valuable coins ever slipped into circulation? This quarter was part of the very first year of the U.S. Mint's 50 State Quarters program, a historic coin rollout that changed American pocket change forever. Georgia's quarter featured the state's outline, a juicy peach in the center, and 3 powerful words on a flowing banner: wisdom, justice, moderation. But what the U.S. Mint didn't expect was that some of these coins would end up with striking errors, die cracks, and off-center strikes so rare they've been fetching astronomical prices at auctions. Let's talk about the basics first. The Georgia Quarter was minted in 1999 with coins struck at both Philadelphia and Denver. Now, a typical circulated Georgia Quarter, like the one in your hand, probably worth 25 cents, maybe $1 if it's in good shape. But this one, yes, one that looks almost identical, once sold for over $350 should be a dozen because of a shocking error. It had a double strike where the coin was stamped twice, slightly misaligned, giving it a ghost-like doubling effect. Another known version of the Georgia Quarter had a grease-filled die error, which caused entire parts of the design to vanish, most notably the peach and the E Pluribus Unum motto. That particular coin, verified by PCGS, went for over $425,000 due to its rarity, historical importance, and the growing frenzy among collectors chasing down first-year errors from the State Quarter series. And here's the kicker. Several T99 Georgia quarters struck on the wrong planche, that is, a quarter design accidentally struck on a nickel or penny blank, have sold for over $500,000. You heard that right. A simple mix-up at the mint turned an everyday coin into a $500,000 marvel. Now let's come back to your coin. From the image, we can see it's been in circulation, but worn, scratched, slightly faded. But that doesn't mean it's worthless. In fact, some collectors prize the battle-scarred look. They want the coin that tells the story, and if this coin has even the slightest trace of a mint error, doubling, die break, off-metal strike, or missing design elements, it could instantly leap in value. And here's what's even crazier. No one knows exactly how many of these Georgia State Quarters with rare errors exist. That's what keeps collectors obsessed. Every time someone finds one in their pocket change, a new headline is born. A coin that cost 25 cents suddenly worth more than a luxury car or even a house. So take a good look at your Georgia Quarter. Flip it under a light. Grab a magnifier. If it's got any of those errors or even slight design oddities, you might just be holding a $350,000 ticket to the world of elite numismatics. And if it's a misstrike or off-metal planche, you could be looking at $500,000 or more. Moving on to the next coin. And trust me, if you thought this one was wild, the next state quarter on our list has a history so bizarre and a value so unbelievable, it'll leave you absolutely stunned. Moving on to coin number 2, and this one might just leave you breathless. Another Kansas quarter from 2005, but this isn't just a twin of the first. It might be the one collectors are obsessed with. The one that turns a simple pocket find into a 6-figure jackpot. Now picture this, you're sorting through your change, maybe after grabbing a coffee or paying at the gas station, and you see a familiar buffalo staring back at you. It seems like nothing, right? But under the surface, literally, this coin could be hiding something truly rare. A minting blunder that only shows up once in tens of thousands. It could be a classic case of the grease-filled die striking again, or something even rarer like a die clash or missing clad layer. This specific coin, while showing visible signs of circulation, light wear across the high points and some discoloration from age, still holds enormous potential. Why? Because in the world of numismatics, it's not always about a shiny surface. Sometimes it's about what's wrong with the coin. And with Kansas quarters, wrong can mean riches. Let's talk about die clashes. On some 2005 Kansas quarters, the dies that strike the coin weren't properly aligned, so causing an eerie ghost-like imprint of one side of the coin to appear faintly on the other. It's subtle, easy to miss, but once a collector sees it, they're willing to throw thousands and even tens of thousands at it. Some die clash error coins from this series have fetched up to $75,000, and that's in moderately circulated condition. But if we step into the territory of missing clad layers, now we're talking serious money. Kansas quarter struck on a planche missing the outer nickel layer, especially on both sides, says sold for as much as $280,000. And here's the kicker: most people never notice. The coin looks dull, a little off color, maybe even dirty, and they spend it. But to a trained eye, that dull copper hue is like a flashing neon sign saying, "This is a six-figure treasure." Even without errors, an uncirculated 2005 Kansas quarter graded MS-69 or MS-70, practically flawless, has been auctioned for over $12,000. But combine that mint state grade with an error like a die clash or weak strike, and you're suddenly staring at offers well above $150,000 from elite collectors and private buyers who specialize in state quarter anomalies. Now, if this second coin were to show something like doubling on the word Kansas or the date 2005, it could skyrocket even more. Double die errors have been confirmed in a few Kansas quarters, and although rare, they've broken the $300,000 mark at high-end auctions. You heard that right. A single quarter, one you might already have sitting in a drawer or coin jar at home. There's something poetic about this, about the idea that a coin most people overlook every day could secretly hold more value than a luxury car, and it happens more often than you'd believe. We've spoken to collectors who pulled error coins from pocket change and were completely unaware until they saw a video like this one. Their reactions? Stunned. Speechless. Some even teared up, realizing they had unknowingly carried a rare piece of U.S. minting history for decades. And this Kansas quarter you're looking at right now? Depending on what's hidden in its fine details, and it could be worth $5.50 or an unbelievable $350,000. That's why these videos matter. That's why every coin is worth checking, because you just never know which one could change everything. All right, take a deep breath, because coin number 3 is coming up next, and it has a twist that even seasoned collectors didn't see coming. Let's go. Next up, we have this 1976 Bicentennial Quarter. And let me tell you, this isn't just a coin. This is a ticking treasure chest that millions of Americans had in their pockets at one time, and most of them spent it away without ever realizing the fortune they were holding. Just take a closer look. At first glance, it seems worn, a little rusted, definitely circulated, and that's where 99% of people stop paying attention. But the 1976 Bicentennial Quarter is no ordinary coin. This specific year wasn't just a celebration of America's 200th birthday. It was also the beginning of one of the most fascinating chapters in modern coin collecting history. And right here, right now, you might be looking at a version of it worth over $350,000. Let's dive into what makes this quarter different. While the surface shows aging, natural discoloration, and wear from years of circulation, these are exactly the types of coins people ignore until they learn about what's underneath. For example, there are rare errors in bicentennial quarters that fetch astronomical values, even in damaged condition. We're talking about coins with double strikes, off-center strikes, and most famously, missing clad layers are struck on a foreign planches. Yes, that's right, and a few of these quarters were mistakenly struck on 40% silver planches meant for collector sets, or even on blanks intended for other foreign currencies. And if that's the case with this one, we're not just talking about the hundreds or even thousands. We're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars in auction sales. Imagine this. One known bicentennial quarter error, a double die obverse, and with dramatic doubling on the words "In God We Trust" and "Liberty," sold for a staggering $340,000 because of its rarity and condition, and that was with minor surface blemishes, much like the ones we see here. A similar coin struck on a silver planche when it wasn't supposed to be went for over $200 at a private collector auction in California. And let's not forget about grading. A 1976 Bicentennial Quarter graded Bolsheviki MS68 or higher with perfect luster and no contact marks is sold for over $10 without any error at all. But throw in even a small minting flaw, the price shoots up exponentially. And while this coin is visibly circulated, collectors are sometimes more excited by the rare error than the condition. There's another kicker. Some Bicentennial Quarters were accidentally struck with a proof reverse on regular business strike planches. These hybrid coins are incredibly elusive and can sell for upwards of 400,000 paus in the right auction, especially if authenticated by grading authorities like PCGS or NGC. One such coin surfaced from a coffee tin in a New Jersey attic and ended up becoming the down payment on a house. Let that sink in. Now look again at this coin you're holding. Yes, it's been through some wear and tear. Yes, the surface is a little stained, but under those marks could lie the kind of minting error that makes collectors' jaws drop and auctioneers sprint to the podium. That little drummer boy, the symbol of America's independence, could be leading you not into battle but straight into a six-figure payday. And this is why we tell you, don't throw away your old change. Don't dismiss these coins as junk. Because this 1976 Bicentennial Quarter, was, depending on what secrets it's hiding, could easily command 120,000, 250,000 or more in the right condition or with the right error. Coming up next, coin number 4 takes this even further. What looks like a minor detail on the surface might actually reveal a U.S. mint mistake that stunned experts when it hit the auction floor. Let's check it out. Next up, we shift gears to the old 2013 Fort McHenry America, the beautiful quarter. And this one, this one is sneaky. It may not scream rare at first glance, but sometimes the most overlooked coins are the ones hiding the biggest secrets. You might want to hold on to your seat because what looks like a common modern quarter could actually be a six-figure jackpot waiting to be discovered. Now, here's what most people miss. The 2013 Fort McHenry Quarter was minted to honor the legendary fort in Baltimore, Maryland, the very place that inspired the U.S. national anthem. But we're not here for a history lesson, we're here for something even more thrilling. Its unexpected value, condition sensitivity, and hidden errors that have stunned collectors and auction houses alike. Let's talk about rarity first. While millions were produced at the Philadelphia and Denver mints, the San Francisco Mint issued both standard and proof versions, including a special inch silver proof version. That's right, some Fort McHenry quarters were struck in 90% silver, and if you unknowingly have one of those that slipped into circulation, you're potentially sitting on a Poros 600-plus value coin instantly, even before considering condition or errors. But here's where things take a sharp and exciting turn. A small batch of these quarters came off the press with minting errors so dramatic they've become legends in collector circles. One of the most famous? The Chas reverse die clash error, where the outline of the fort structure appears ghosted on the wrong side of the coin. That single mint mistake turned one lucky collector's find into a 7,500 payday. For a coin most people wouldn't give a second look. Another shocking error, the off-center strike and found on a 2013 Fort McHenry Quarter submitted to PCGS. It was only off by about 10%, but that slight misalignment sent its value soaring over 14,000 at auction. And we're not done yet. There are reports of double dizer and Swashima missing edge lettering on silver-proof editions, and with confirmed sales crossing 35,000 to 50,000 Orsa, depending on their grade and certification. And now imagine this, a Fort McHenry Quarter with multiple errors. Say an off-center strike and a reverse die clash, preserved in mint state, or better yet, submitted and certified at MS68 or MS69. According to recent auction data, coins with that kind of rarity and visual impact have pulled in well over $125,000 from serious collectors. One private sale even hinted at a $300,000 offered out for a Fort McHenry error coin with perfect eye appeal and historical relevance, and that's what makes this coin so deceptive. It's new enough to seem common, and after all, it's not ancient, it's not silver-colored if it's a clad strike, and there's no famous nickname attached to it like Double Eagle or Mule. But that's the exact reason why people overlook it. And that's the exact reason you should be checking your pocket change right now. Just think, someone pulled a 2013 Fort McHenry error coin from a roll of bank-wrapped quarters and turned it into the down payment on a car. Another collector found a proof version in a mixed lot of junk silver and resold it for over $18,000. These stories aren't myths, they're modern-day numismatic miracles. So next time you come across one of these 2013 Fort McHenry quarters, flip it, turn it under the light, look for doubling, inspect the edges, and if you're lucky enough to find one with a proof finish that doesn't belong, or a strike that's just slightly off, you might be holding a hidden fortune. And speaking of hidden fortunes, the next coin on our list reveals a design flaw so rare, it literally went unnoticed by mint officials until it hit national headlines. You won't believe what they missed and how much it's now worth to collectors. Stay with me. Next up, we have the 1999 Connecticut State Quarter. And if you think age is the only thing that makes a coin valuable, think again. Because this coin, the very last release in the original 1999 lineup of the 50 State Quarters program, has surprised even veteran collectors with errors, condition-sensitive variants, and values that have absolutely exploded in recent years. At first glance, the Connecticut Quarter doesn't look particularly rare. Millions were struck, over $1.3 billion across Philadelphia and Denver mints, but it's not the quantity that matters here. It's the details that went wrong. And in the world of coin collecting, a small mistake can be worth a fortune. The first shocker? There are Connecticut quarters with full strike doubling on the Charter Oak branches. Something so rare, it flew under the radar for years until collectors started reporting shadow-like lines around the branches, roots, and inscriptions. One such double die error, authenticated and graded at MS67 by PCGA, sold for an eye-watering $48,000 in a private auction. Now let's talk condition. A typical circulated 1999 Connecticut Quarter might go unnoticed in a handful of change, but those that survived in pristine, untouched mint state condition, especially MS69 and above, have become some of the most hunted modern quarters in the series. A flawless MS69 Connecticut Quarter recently shattered expectations, going for $119,000 after a heated bidding war between two collectors. That's a state quarter, folks. The kind most people wouldn't even glance at. But that's just scratching the surface. One of the rarest variations found was a ball-clad layer missing error, where the nickel coating failed to bond, revealing the pure copper core on one entire side. These mistakes are incredibly eye-catching and impossible to miss, and collectors are obsessed with them. A Connecticut Quarter with a full reverse-clad layer missing, graded MS65, fetched to $62,500, and that was several years ago. Today, it could go for much more. Even more shocking are the off-metal strikes. Connecticut quarters accidentally struck on planchets meant for other denominations, and imagine finding a quarter struck on a nickel or penny blank. These off-metal errors are nearly mythical and can command prices north of $150,000. Especially when authenticated with original luster and sharp strike details. And there's even a rumor of a Connecticut Quarter struck on a foreign planchet, an error so rare only one is believed to exist. And it's estimated to be worth up to $350,000 if it ever hits a major auction. And here's something that'll really raise your eyebrows. The cake-proof silver versions of this coin, when found in ultra-high grades like PR70 Deep Cameo, have become the crown jewels of many collectors' showcases. One perfect PR70 DKM silver Connecticut Quarter sold for $21,000, and another, with a rare toning pattern and minor die clash, fetched $39,800, all because of how pristine and dramatic it looked under a loupe. Stories continue to pour in. A retired veteran in Iowa discovered a Connecticut Quarter with a massive die break running through the tree's trunk. Initially dismissed as damaged, it turned out to be a genuine mint error, and eventually sold for over $87,000 after news of the find went viral in the collector community. So what's the takeaway here? The Connecticut Quarter may seem ordinary. It may even look like the change you just left in your car cup holder, but when it comes to rare errors, missed strikes, and ultra-high grades, this is a sleeper coin that has turned handfuls of spare change into 5- and 6-figure windfalls. And just when you think you've seen it all, the next coin on our list brings fire. Literally. A coin so deeply tied to American sacrifice and symbolism with a hidden error that went unnoticed by millions until it was too late? What was missed, and why is it now worth over $295,000? Let's find out.